It may seem odd coming from a Nord, but I'm glad to see all these Reach folk alive and well. They seem content, but I'm sure they wouldn't mind us bringing them a few more reasons to celebrate. News of Rada al-Saran's death won't compare to the dead returning to life, but I'm sure Kadik will be relieved to hear it. You find the Ard and let him know there's nothing to fear from the Grey Host anymore. Tell him he has Verandis to thank. Why spoil the mood? I think I'm going to take a moment. I haven't done that since Fenorian and I arrived in the Reach. Just fine. Even the great Lyris Titanborn needs a rest sometimes. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Look! Look! Can you believe it? There's life to the keep again! Ha! That's your doing, isn't it? The Ard seems to think so. He'll want to see you. He's holding an audience in his war room right now.
What's this about a war room?
Ah, you're here too, Titanborn. You come with me. I have a message for your ears alone.
Fine. But if this is Kadik's idea of a joke, you won't find it funny.
We are agreed. If Eastern and Western Skyrim can put aside their differences in the face of the Grey Host, then the Reach can do so as well. Come forward, Freehand. No need to bow for the sake of kings.
Thank the gods we have better matters to attend to than the deployment of troops and suspicions of treachery. For a man called Despot, the Ard is in an agreeable mood. But that's not your concern. It's good to see you once more. Truthfully, Spana, when we learned that Markarth suffered an attack like the one you narrowly prevented in Solitude, she insisted that we offer aid, ostensibly to stop the Grey Host. But it seems we're a bit late for that. No doubt. They have proved very skilled at keeping to the shadows and biding their time. Hunting them down will not be easy, but I feel that's not how best to make use of the opportunity we've been given. The Grey Host's greatest weapon against us was our mutual mistrust. They preyed on our suspicions and fears, used our division to pick us apart one by one. The best way to prevent that from happening again would be to build trust and cooperation. An accord at least. It's a step in the right direction. Trust takes time to build, but we must start somewhere. I couldn't have done it without Svanna. Jarl Svanna. Watching her put aside past differences between Eastern and Western Skyrim for the sake of her people has made quite an impression on me. Well, yes, I do. She's a striking woman. A figure. Leader, yeah. She's won many hearts and minds in the short time she's been a Jarl. I think that speaks more to her esteem than my praise. Western Skyrim would do well to put her in charge. He doesn't want another war on his hands, and the Western Holds still desire their independence. Skyrim won't be united by force, but with more days like today, the province may one day be whole, no matter how many kings claim it.
We may be a divided nation, but in our hearts we are all Nords. I have faith that one day Skyrim will be whole once more. This business with the Grey Host is far from over. As long as Skyrim is threatened, I will be close by to lend a hand. The Reach is far from everyone's holdings. This Grey Host business started with me, though, and I always intended to see it through to the end. Thankfully, we prevail this time. I do. She's an impressive young woman. Is Western Skyrim ready for Swana? That's the more pertinent question. Solitude shuns the outside world, while Swana reaches for it. We'll have to see how that works out in the end. I have no desire to replace a despot. Haven't these people suffered enough? In any event, my forces are stretched too thin to take on much more. If the people request help, however, I will put whatever resources I can at their disposal. Shore's bones, why does everyone insist on seeing ulterior motives behind every kind act? Can't a king just be a nice person? Look, someone has to extend the hand of friendship before it can be grasped. Besides, helping the Reach helps all of Skyrim.
You seem more comfortable standing among kings and jarls than I do. Then again, you always did. It's good to see you again. Western Skyrim has begun to recover. With Fenn's elixir, our soldiers have been able to push back the Grey Host. I know the Reach has not been so fortunate. I persuaded Prince Ernskar and the Skald King to offer our support. I expected we'd be sending soldiers, but by the time we arrived, the people were dancing in the streets. I always heard stories of the City of Stone being a dark place where flint-hearted Reachmen worship strange gods. It's not so different from home. The people seem happier than I've ever seen, in spite of all our hardships. I wasn't the only one living under my father's shadow, apparently. I can't come and go as I please, but the Blue Palace is lively as any tavern with Mog around. Made him my royal taster. I don't think the thought of being poisoned even crossed his mind, but he seems happy so long as the food and drink keeps coming. Unofficially, he's also the jester, but don't tell him I said so.
If you'd said only yesterday I'd play host to Nord rulers from across all Skyrim, I'd have told you the dead would live again before that happened. And here we are. A day of miracles. Tell me truthful, you had a hand in all this, aye? Alas, the monster that nearly brought my lands to ruin has paid the price for his wrongs. I could ask no more, and yet that which was taken has been returned as well. Where is Count Ravenwatch, if he thinks to escape my gratitude? Then his name and deeds will echo these halls for as long as I sit upon the throne, which'll be a while yet, thanks to you both, and so long as these Nords are good to their word. I've no idea what peace is like, but I'm eager to find out. We treat for peace. Our battles with the Grey Host have ravaged all our kingdoms and peoples. We each seek to rebuild and recover. Perhaps we'll do so together. At least we'll keep out of each other's way. Before we proclaim, I have a favor to ask. I've need of a counselor. In spite of her treachery, Lady Belaine was a canny advisor. I need that again now, more than ever. Tell the witch, Arana, that I will offer her my ear, if she will share her wisdom. I hear she's recently arrived to my keep. Aye, I suppose so. Can't just lop off her head after she got it back. Wouldn't do for morale. Unless she's determined to keep up her fight with me. I'm willing to put the past to rest. Besides, I already made peace with the rest of her rebels. It's a worthy holdfast, but not so much a city. I would have the land worked, the stone repaired, and the markets expanded. These are not things my kin have much knowledge in, but perhaps the Nords will share their trade for the right price. Well, they're a fair lot more agreeable than the she-wolf you travel with. Have the sense to show deference to a king in his own hall. Though I heard enough honeyed words from the Lady Boleyn for one lifetime. The fat one thinks himself a poet. Scald king. Nonsense. Every now and then comes a king of his kind. One who makes stirring pronouncements and promises that his court must struggle to keep. His grand words lack guile, so I'll wager he can be trusted. The past would tell me to hate Svargrim's whelp with all my vigor. We've battled and bled for more generations than I can count with her ilk. But this fledgling speaks plain and honest. When she talks of new beginnings, I believe her. I heard Yoren sired the boy when he was young, but looking at the pair, I have a hard time saying who's father and who's whelp. Ernskar seems shrewd and dutiful, but his father casts a long shadow. A wide one, too. If you must.
My ears are burning. Is that my name on the wind? Not even this gloomy old stone keep can dampen my spirits. My dreams hold true. Markarth is alive with joy. But you didn't approach to listen to me. What is it you wanted? I'm barely foot to stone and he's clamoring for my attention. I had no mind to stand by a throne when I first started my journey. Now, here we are. The Reach has suffered so much. I want to help restore the land. Aye, I'll serve. I can speak for myself. You have more important matters to attend to. There's a friend who's journeyed a long way to thank you personally for all you've done. 'Twould be rude to keep him waiting. There's an out-of-the-way chamber in the rear of the keep where you can meet. Now, I should find the Ard and make sure he thinks before he speaks. Aye, I can, but I won't. I'm enjoying the suspense. Off with you.
I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, my friend. Do forgive my ghastly appearance. It seems I spoke too soon when I bade you a final farewell. I'm glad to have the opportunity to see you again, my friend. None of this would have been possible without you. As did I. When I took hold of the Darkstorm's power, I believed it would be the last thing I ever did. It was a force no mortal hands should wield. Still, with it I was able to draw the souls out of the Dark Heart, return them to where they belonged. No, as the last of the Dark Heart's power ebbed away, I should have been trapped in Rada's sanctuary realm. But I was forced out. Pushed, I'd say. I fell into the darkness of the slumbering heart. Then I emerged from it, like a moth from a cocoon. My soul became part of the Dark Heart, smelted inextricably into the fabric of its existence. So long as it remains dormant, its hold over me is tolerable. But I am bound to it nonetheless. If I am to be wed to this power, then I must ensure that it never gets used again. For that to happen, both the heart and I must fade into obscurity. House Ravenwatch will carry on without me. Arana will send them here to receive the news soon. I have no regrets. You gave me the opportunity to reckon with my past and pay penance. This journey has brought closure to the life of Count Verandis Ravenwatch. I have a fresh start. As do we all. The kings are soon to speak. You should be there. I have no idea what the future holds, but you seem to be the axis upon which this world turns. If it still has some use for me, I'm sure our paths will cross again. Until then, my friend.
Arana said they'd be this way. Come on.
Father!
They said you were gone.
I was, and I will be again. We have much to discuss, but I will not be returning to House Ravenwatch.
But who will...
You three have no more need of a guardian. It's time I put the future of the Ravenwatch in your hands.
But you'll still visit, right?
Every chance I get.
I don't know what I expected when Arana said there was someone waiting to see us, but I thought he was gone. I don't think there's anything left that could surprise me today. Forget I said that. Better not tempt fate. No, I don't mean to give the wrong impression. It's all just a bit much. Maybe I should sit down. Did he really say he wants us to take over the Ravenwatch? Right. I didn't imagine it. The truth is, we were already considering the future of the Ravenwatch after you returned without Verandis. It seems that will bear further discussion, but I'm relieved that the circumstances are different. Your vote of confidence is always encouraging. Gwendis could use some of that as well, I think. Have a word with her, won't you? You're to endure as much of the cheer and praise as the Ard and his people can heap upon you. And you're to have absolutely nothing to do with evil vampires for at least, I don't know, a day? Think you can manage that, recruit? Remember, you're representing House Ravenwatch now. Consider this a diplomatic mission. I believe the Ard was calling for you when we spoke to Arana. He was headed to the audience chamber with the other rulers, last I saw.
Here and gone, here and gone. It's cruel to play with a girl's heart like this, but I'm glad Verandis kept his promise. Ugh, I'm having too many feelings right now. Great, terrible, everything in between. I've waited so long for Verandis to stop hovering over my shoulder, but I never thought it would be because he's not around. I realized something, though, when you and Lyris told me he wasn't coming back. I can't shed tears for him. It's not what he needs from me. He needs someone to carry on after him, to do the work he can't anymore. So that's what I'll do. Keep his legacy alive. Somebody has to keep tabs on all those pesky vampires. Don't think it's just Verandis I expect to visit. It'd be nice bumping into you somewhere other than a moldy cavern once in a while. Castle Ravenwatch is always open to you. It's not like we have a shortage of guest rooms. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to give Verandis an earful. I think I heard the Ard calling for you when we were talking to Arana. They're making some proclamation in the audience chamber. Better not miss your accolades.
Adusa heard that Verandis had been imprisoned in the void, but he's here. Forgive me. This one is glad to see you, Five Claw. Your help at Reachwind Depths was much appreciated. Without your assistance, Cathard would still be in the deep tombs. There was a time when this one felt more like a nursemaid than compatriot to those two. But Gwendis and Fenorian are no longer helpless kittens. Count Verandis need not worry. Adusa stands firm. House Ravenwatch will endure. House Ravenwatch has a long and noble tradition. This one will run the estate in Count Verandis' absence. She has done so before. As for the Ravenwatch,
Our work will continue. Verandis is coming into her own, and Fëanorian shows promise. Cathod has much training to complete before he can take his place as a fully functional member of the Raven Watch. Oh, he has the skills and the proper outlook, but he needs time to hone those abilities and learn our methods. He will work out well.
Now, I must bid farewell to my beloved wards. I have never been comfortable with goodbyes, but I should realize by now that they are rarely forever. I won't be joining the festivities, but rest assured, I will be watching. I have no idea what the future holds, but you seem to be the axis upon which this world turns. If it still has some use for me, I'm sure our paths will cross again. Until then, my friend.
I thought you might enjoy a welcome surprise for once, Snow Lily.
Oh, sigh. You always know how to... Oh, hello, partner.
It's been some time since our paths last crossed. I'm happy to see you again, and to know that Lyris was in good company during her time in Skyrim. I had long planned to visit Skyrim and learn about their long history with the dragons, to help in our battle against them. When I heard that Lyris was here, fighting a sword saint no less, I decided now was the time to make the journey. Rada al-Saran was an Ansei of great renown, a legend to rival Leki herself. The sword saints are a lost legacy to my people. It's a shame that al-Saran did not devote himself to restoring that honorable tradition instead of his monstrous grey host. Lyris has promised to show me some of the dragon culture ruins and barrows. With good fortune, they may help us learn more about our foes and elsewhere. I will return to my duties there soon.
Ah, there you are. I hope you don't mind, I got a bit sidetracked. Sai and I were just catching up. Swapping stories of our travels with you, actually. Brayden said there was a strange red guard looking for me. When I laid eyes on Sai, I didn't know whether to punch him or hug him. It was quite the surprise, but not a bad one. We've got a lot of catching up to do. I'd say being home has been nice, but you know I'd be lying. The Skald King owes me some rest. Think we'll take our leave of Skyrim and spend some time free of obligations. Always wanted to go back to Skingrad. People like us can't stay out of trouble very long, so let's share a few casks of mead while things are quiet. Oh, Cadoc's looking for you. He and the other rulers want to make some big announcement. I'll be along in a moment. I haven't, but I'm sure you can keep them busy for a while longer. Right, partner? Sai and I still have a few dents to bang out of my armor.
Finally, the guest of honor has arrived. Let's have a word before we begin. Not a moment too soon. Cadoc's eager to demonstrate that he's the equal of any Nord king. He hopes it will legitimize his claim as king of the Reach. He's not wrong, but he'd look more a fool if I weren't here to keep his temper on a leash. That I am. It's a new dawn. For me, for Markarth, for the Reach. After all you've done to bring it back from the brink of oblivion, putting up with Cadoc's arse-headed notions is the least I can do to make sure it wasn't wasted effort. Let's not stretch the bones of reason. There'll be no shortage of bickering and cursing in our future, but there's trust. So long as we both want what's best for the Reach, that'll do. Best to see him now. I can see him casting glares our way.
Fair adventurers. Come and go as you please. Keep 3 kings and a jarl biding on their thumbs in a crowded hall. Suppose you've earned that right, Rover. Near everybody in this room wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Simply put, I like that. In doing what needed doing, you brought all the crowns of Skyrim to one hall. You put the Grey Host back in the ground, and you gave us clear skies. At last, we can see where we must go. Take this with all our thanks. Free hands of Markarth, you long-suffering lot, I call my king! We've survived another long night, darker than we've ever known, but we didn't endure it alone. Against the Grey Host we found unlikely allies, and put aside old grudges. Together, we not only survived, we flourished.
We owe these miracles to the efforts of all kinds. Reachmen, Nord, vampire, outlander. Heroes of every stripe. Let us follow their example. We have warred together. We celebrate together. Let us rebuild together.
From this day forward, we clash mugs instead of swords. Peace and prosperity to all our kingdoms. Cheers to the heroes of Skyrim.
Let us remember them with song and drink. We, the children of Skyrim, we shall endure!
It still doesn't feel real to me. So much has happened since we first met that it feels like a lifetime ago. The nightmare is finally over, though. I know I won't wake up to find everything as it was, but there's a new dawn at least. Prince Ernskar is eager to lay out the terms of our new accord, but that's tomorrow's work. After this, my only order of business is to get out of this damned finery. It may be good for impressing folk, but it's like wearing a mountain goat.
I cannot think of a time or a tale where a Reach folk and Nord extended a hand to one another unless each was holding a dagger. This may be the first time such a thing's occurred. May it not be the last. Much as anything can, stone crumbles, forests burn, even Daedra die now and again. This life's a struggle. The only thing that's changed is what we struggle against. The peace will last so long as we fight for it. Aye, we've trod in circles with blood and rage clouding our eyes for as long as anyone can remember. But just now, we've glimpsed a new path of this endless trail of suffering. Peace is on the horizon, and we're for it now, with all we've got.
Looking for another adventure, my friend? You need to learn to relax for a while. Eat, drink, find a companion. Life's too short for anything else.
The spirits must have plans for me, Harrier. Why else put me back here in the Reach? I'll help keep al-Saran out of trouble for a while. After that, we'll see. It's strange to say, but I don't want to think too far ahead. After everything that happened, I want to relish the present moment. Help Kadak, my people. Just enjoy the time I've been given. You should try it, Harrier. Do you a world of good.
I think that went well, don't you? I thought it would be best to keep the speeches short. I'm just glad my father agreed to let me take the lead. I don't know that the Ard has the patience for one of the Skald King's epic toasts. After years of saber-rattling, we need to start learning how to be good neighbors. How will we trade goods? How will we resolve disputes? Jarl Svanna and I are resolved to lay a foundation that our diplomats can build upon, however long it takes us. Right, the Ard. I think it might be best for Svanna and I to work closely on a framework first, and present it to Ard Kadak. He's got a lot going on, and I'm sure he'd rather not spend hours debating every detail.
Never thought I'd set foot in Markarth except to conquer it. Strange times. Strange, but not entirely unpleasant. Still, I'll not get comfortable here. Too much dwarf workings and old stone. May as well live in a barrow. My hold endures, as we always have. Though we might not have weathered the Harrow storms without that elixir Fenorian and old Mjolnir concocted, they still threaten the countrysides. But we can fight free of the fear that we'll be made monsters. Better, much better. There's still a pall that hangs over her to the rest of the townsfolk. But at home we're beginning to feel more like a family again. She even smiles now and again. You've got enough arse-kissing to endure, but I'm grateful.
In all my years, I have neither seen nor heard of such a miracle as you've delivered today. You must have Shore's own bond with Mother Wolf for her to carry so many lost pups back here. This old woman not important enough to merit an invitation, is that it? If you must know, Svanna asked me to counsel her on the Reach, but I'd have come whether I was invited or not. Can't trust such important matters to the likes of kings. That I have. Many times during the vast span of my life, though not in some years. The city never changes, only the occupants. Perhaps that will change now, should this peace hold. I should think this whole affair taught you that nothing lasts forever. But it seems to me the people are ready for this peace. I don't think it will crumble easily so long as ambitious fools aren't permitted to chip away at it.
Good work, partner. It's always a pleasure to fight by your side. Forgive me for saying this, but I hope we don't need to do that again for quite some time. Don't worry, I'll stick around to raise a glass or two with you, celebrate our victory. If I stay too long, though, one of these leader types will try to send me on another mission. Sai might not mind, but I'm determined to finally relax a little. Hey, I enjoy saving the world as much as the next hero, but even I have my limits. I want to spend some time with the man I love, traveling and doing anything that doesn't involve hitting somebody with my axe. Initially, not even a little. There are a lot of things I've been meaning to do with Sai that should keep me occupied for a few weeks. And when we do get restless, I have a knack for stumbling into the next threat to the realm. We'll be fine.
That was a heartening display. The Reach folk are often dismissed as savage and beastly, but they have a strong sense of honor. I know that all too well. Much Reach blood stained my blade during Varen's rebellion. Not all were proud and noble warriors, but many deserved respect. It is the duty of those who fight to remember those who die, even their foes. No, it was a just war. Still, I bear no ill will toward the Reach folk for the misdeeds of the Longhouse Emperors. Look around. It is plain to see that they possess as much honor and goodness as anyone else. I hope they enjoy a lasting peace.
The Crow-Eye once again have a reason to look at you in admiration, outsider. Well, thank you. Karthwastan knows the favor of the Daedra once more, and the air no longer reeks of the storm. Our home is at peace, as are we.
You saved the Crow-Eye clan, and now the Reach itself. I'm sorry I distrusted you. But in my defense, it's not every outsider that can wipe out an army of vampires and werewolves. You're different from outsiders. Thank you. Aye, but don't get any ideas, outsider. I'm still keeping my eye on you. So mind yourself.
It's good to see you, friend. It seems we of the Reach owe much to you. Now that it's free of the vampire's pall, Karthwastan thrives. The Crow-Eye clan will always remember what you did for us.
You're the one who killed Rada al-Saran, who helped stop the Grey Host? I had no idea. You should have told me. You're a legend. Hard to say. Adusadaro has begun my training, but there's only so much we can accomplish out here in the Reach. She says we'll be heading to Rivenspire soon, so I can train in Ravenwatch Castle. And I met Verandis and Fëanorian. They welcome me. Adusa says they're my sister and brother now. Fëanorian seems nice enough, if a little too scholarly for my taste. Verandis, however, she's intense. None of my actual siblings ever looked at me the way she does. It's disconcerting. If you say so. Hopefully, once I prove myself, they'll accept me as a true member of the family. In the meantime, I'm trying to remember everything Adusa tells me. I want to make sure she never regrets coming to my aid. Or you either, my friend.
Is what they are saying true? That the last of the Grey Host is truly dead? Then you have the Pyre Watch's eternal gratitude. I must return their stolen remains to the unhallowed grave, and bury them deeply enough to be forgotten by all but my order. Once it is rebuilt. No. Some of those defending the Bankerai garrison showed interest, but most of them were only seeking a less hazardous post. The Pyre Watch has no need of layabouts and cowards. We must be eternally vigilant. Perhaps I will try Kvatch next. My ancestors must be burying their heads on the far shores at that suggestion. Vampires would be better suited to this eternal vigil than we mortals. But it is our duty. Still, we have similar goals to the Ravenwatch. Perhaps a partnership would do. Yes, well, it would be ungrateful of me to go without giving my thanks to Fëanorian again. If his fellows are as honorable, then introductions may be in order.
You've done the Ravenwatch proud. I don't suppose you'd accept an assignment to reorder all of Count Verandis' records? No? Well, I can look forward to that later. For now, we celebrate. No, I won't be barricading myself in the library any longer. But someone has to curate our records. Can you imagine Adusa doing it? Or Verandis? I'll show you the state of her sock drawer sometime. This was quite the adventure, wasn't it? But we survived it, even if it was touch and go there for a bit. Forgive me for being sentimental, but it was you who got me through it. I'll always be grateful for that. Well, I mean it all the same. If there's ever a time when you need someone to be there for you, count on me. Now go on. Everyone wants to talk to you, and I'm only liable to embarrass myself if I keep carrying on.
After everything that's happened, I think I'll enjoy a nice, quiet month of Ravenwatch Castle. Who am I kidding? I'll be lucky if Adusa lets us rest tonight. What's left of the Grey Host may be in shambles, but the leftovers are certain to make trouble elsewhere, even with their Ashen Lord gone. Plus, we'll need to catch up on who else has been up to no good while they hogged our attention. Oh, you'll be the first to read the naughty list when we've got one, trust me. Maybe I'll even tag along. But no caves this time.
This one is not used to being this close to the center of attention. She does not like it. Give Adusa a shadow or dark corner. Celebrations such as these tend to be too bright and noisy for my taste. Does a tiger need to be thanked for killing a terror bird? Adusa Daro does not hunt to be appreciated. She hunts because it is her nature. The only reward this one needs is worthy prey and fresh blood. You think so? That would make this endeavor much more bearable. Perhaps this tiger will linger a while longer. So far, so good. He has skills and a sense of honor that will serve him well. This one hoped to let Verandis take him under her wing, finish his training. But as usual, the little one sees a toy to play with instead of a brother to assist.
Salutations! Wherever you go, celebrations seem to follow. Even if this one is a bit peasantly. But not everyone can have the refined palate of a royal taster. I believe the word you are looking for is refined. My boon companion is the Jarl of Solitude. I have to ensure everything served to her is of the highest quality. You'd be surprised at the sort of slop the Blue Palace chefs will put on her plate. For the future High Queen? Certainly. Usually I have to have 2 or 3 courses before they get it right. It's cost me 3 notches on my best belt, but that's a small price to pay for royalty. Speaking of, it's about time to inspect the kitchen.
It's a grand occasion you've delivered us to, outsider. I'm glad Madonna and I could be a part of it. Free and safe, thankfully. After the trouble with the thorn roots, we found shelter in the mountains. Now, it seems that it's safe for us to return to the lowlands. And I'm passing on to Madonna what knowledge I can. She is ready to lead.
Friend, you've done more for me people than most Reachmen know. You've changed my view of Outlanders, that's for sure and certain. I think the spirits are smiling on us once more. The thorn roots have given my clan no more trouble. And I'm thankful. Father thinks it's time I take up more of the leadership of the clan. So he's teaching me the ways. Ugh, I hope I'm ready.
Finally, a moment to pause and reflect. You've a great deal to reflect upon, too. You stopped the Grey Host, restored life to Markarth's dead, saved Tamriel from certain peril. That's a rather long list of accomplishments, I must say. Since the incident with Pithis, I've focused on applying myself to my studies. My fellow Sijiks never faulted me for what happened. They've been nothing but supportive. So much so, in fact, that they've asked me to consider taking an apprentice. Me!
Outsider, you are an inspiration. What you did for this land, its people, I can scarce fathom it. My wedding to Estlin will be within the season, so I'm told. I've also been helping my father settle the peace terms between the Eagle Seers and my clan. I've kept myself quite busy. A bit. She's still hurt. But she told me she understands why I made the choice that I did. I think we both realize our lives will be better for it, and not just because of the peace between the Six Fords and the Eagle Seers.
Friend, I'm happy to see you. News of what you did for the Reach brought joy to me, and to Modern as well. I've been preparing for the wedding. The Chief of Chiefs and the Clan Chiefs agree it'll happen within the season. Madern and I have grown closer than ever. Though sometimes I worry about him. I think breaking his word to Drisenne still weighs heavy on him. Though I hear she's found a new love already, Madern still worries. I do my best to comfort him. It's easier now that our clans aren't feuding, as much as they used to anyway.
If you told me a season ago that the leader of Western Skyrim would share a dais with the Reach King, I would have laughed in your face. But here we are. Not much to rebel against now that Arana has made peace with the Ard. We'll stay long enough to deal with any grey hosts lurking nearby, and then we'll be on our way. Markarth's not the sort of place werewolves should linger in. Too many people. The survivors asked me to be chieftain, but it's time to let the Ghost Song clan go and begin a new clan with a new name. Better to leave the dark old ways behind. Thinking about the name Longfangs or Wolf Runners.
I did not expect any company, my friend. You caught me in a moment of quiet contemplation. But please, join me. I have lived a very long time. Even by High Elf standards, I am ancient. I confess, I often embraced the routine as a distraction from the gnawing dread of my curse. Many times I sought a home, a family, and a cause. Yet I never remained for long. It was not always my choice. Seeing the lengths Rada went to save the Grey Host makes me question my commitment. Did I ever fight that hard for those I loved? Or did I just convince myself I had to move on because it was easier to start over? Not yet. I think I may have gotten it right this time, however. I built something that will outlast me. The Ravenwatch are able, caring, devoted. I raised them well. It's comforting to know I have somewhere to return. Even if only occasionally. They are my family. And you as well. I had not confided in anyone since Rada, until you took up my cause. I would like to bequeath my name to you, if you will have it. Then it's in good hands. Thank you for coming to visit, my friend. This little chat has dispelled some of the gloom hanging over me. The bonds of friendship weave a net that will catch you when you fall. Rada said that, though the sentiment is much more martial in the original Yokuden. May you always be surrounded by those who will catch you when you need them most. I should return to the Dark Heart soon. I grow weary if I'm away from it for too long. Plus, I need no additional reasons to nod off as I trudge through the Night Hollow Testament. Until next time, my friend.